What's up, folks? It's Stu Myrick, Sports Guys, talking wrestling. Hope you are having a great start of the week. If you are a Cowboys fan, I'm sorry. That was brutal. On top of the fact that Cowboys couldn't even score a touchdown, you lose Dak Prescott. I think right now the talk is at least 4 to 6 weeks. He had surgery on his hand. It's the thumb area. And so looking at, I think right now, 4 to 6 weeks, we'll see how that develops. So, Longhorn fans, man. Never mind the 2 missed pass interference calls and the 1 face mask call that was missed. Longhorns needed one more stop. But they did well. They did a lot better than a lot of people figured. But nevertheless, here to talk wrestling. Well, I'm here. Justin will be here soon. We've got NXT on the TV. It's their first anniversary of NXT 2.0. Fallon Henry pinning Lash Legend. That was quick, too. That match did not last long. They've already had the cage match where Pretty Deadly retained the NXT tag team titles, defeating the Creed brothers. Give the assist to Damon Kemp, who handcuffed, I think it's Julius, to like a brace on top of the cage. So now we have the Sangha, Valentina Faraz, and Ulysses Leon. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so after the week that happened last week with everything, all the fallout from AEW All Out, the media scrum, the fight at the media scrum, or after the media scrum, rather. This week was relatively quiet. We'll talk about, we'll probably be the last ones to talk about the suspensions and everything, because that happened as we were going on the air, or we taped on Tuesday and happened on Wednesday. So anyway, now you got Briggs and Jensen. One of them is, I don't know if he's asking Mandy Rose out, or I don't know. It's a whole thing. Anyway, but yeah, we'll discuss everything, the suspensions and everything. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss a couple other notes. We'll talk some WWE, of course. There is a huge lineup of independent wrestling this weekend. I've got 6 cards listed. I know there are more. Just like I say, after every segment like that, go out and support independent wrestling. It is the lifeblood of the sport, of the business, and we've said it 1,000 times. You go to an independent show, you're going to see somebody that is going to end up on Raw or SmackDown or Dynamite or Rampage. It's going to happen. Simple as that. So we'll tell you about those and everything. Got more football. It is football season. Been a pretty good weekend for football. So I couldn't believe the Broncos wasted so much time and then missed the field goal. But yeah, some good notes. Um, we were discussing last week about the Royal Rumble, and we thought that it was coming to San Antonio, and I didn't know if it was this year or next year. Well, it's this year, and we'll tell you about it. But yeah, Royal Rumble will be in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome this coming January. So may have to try to see if we can make it there. Usually, it's funny. Usually I'm, you know, I'm heading to Super Bowl the day of the Royal Rumble. So I'm usually watching it from Super Bowl City, but not this year. It's happening on Saturday, and B, it's a week before I would go to Phoenix. So we'll see. We'll see if we can make it out there, and you know, at least try to get a couple of interviews beforehand. So, what else? Can you believe NXT 2.0 is 1 year old? It's I don't know. I don't know what to think about. There's part of me that's kind of like feels like it's been around longer. And then there's part of me that says, no, it just happened like a week or so, you know. So, it's had its ups and downs the last year. I would definitely say that in recent weeks, we're seeing it trend back up. Now, I think a lot of that has to do with um, Triple H being in charge of creative, Shawn Michaels being in charge of creative. So, but yeah, it's an interesting deal. But Mandy Rose holding court in the ring with JCJ and Gigi Dolan. Just saw Toxic Attraction on SmackDown this past Friday, I think. But the word around the campfire is they're not being called up. It was just a spot duty. But all right, sure. We've seen Solo Sikoa get called up. He's now part of the bloodline, as you might expect, being the brother of Jimmy and Jey Uso. Oh, what else? Austin FC. They got to get back on the winning track. They've lost the last three, including both road contests. They are back at Q2 Stadium tomorrow night. I forget who are they facing. Let's see. They are facing Real Salt Lake. So, but yeah, they got to get back on the. I mean, amazingly, check the standings, but I believe they are still in second place. Now 10 points behind Western Conference leading LAFC and only 2 points ahead of FC Dallas as Justin Smash Simmons in his color block. They do stink.
They're bad. They're awful. And then I saw that. Did you see the article written by Phil West?
No, I did not. No, I did not see.
Where he calls out Felipe? where Felipe was
I
all like, "Oh,
yeah.
you guys write bad articles, blah blah blah," and then he was all like, "Well."
So I'm part of a chat with.
Oh yeah, same chat. We're in
Okay,
that chat.
yeah. So and I saw where he was calling them out and such. So
Yeah, I was like, have you ever seen anything like that before in a professional team?
calling out a player.
Anything like that. I mean,
it
Dallas
doesn't
and the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe
It doesn't happen often, but it does happen once.
But even for like how the club, like some of the players will call out the media.
yes, so that's a story. Is
that normal?
oh God, that's been around forever.
I don't attend enough press conferences to know, and it's just all like.
And look, I'm not as deep into it as say Chris Bills or Phil West or the Striker or some of the others, but apparently there is some sort of a love-hate relationship between the club, or at least those the coaches, Josh Wolf and etc., and the media.
Yeah, it is a love-hate thing, but I think the club also has to realize, like, yes, it's like big-time professional sports in a sense where it's like it's the highest level of soccer in America, but it still registers as what, the 4th, 5th most watched professional sports league here.
It's still.
And in the middle of football season, you should be thankful for any
yeah.
coverage you're getting right now.
Right.
No offense. I mean,
no.
Look, I mean, like,
you're right, but
I'm
a
fan of the coach. I'm a fan of our players, but it's just like, that's the one issue I've had where it's like, oh well, don't try to big time the people that are trying to cover you because that's all you're gonna get.
You're absolutely right. It's one of those things where, like when I go down for the post-match press conferences and stuff, I know that whatever I get might get a mention on the top of the hour sports update from Aaron.
Yeah.
During Bucky and Aaron. That's it, though, because they're going to be busy talking about, this week it'll be Hudson Card and his ankle and Charles Wright and who's going to start against UTSA. Probably some about, Dak and his hand and Cooper Rush and Will Greer and
how bad Jerry Jones is as a GM.
Well, that's again.
It's like our royal monarchy.
That's a story that's been percolating for almost 30 years.
I was gonna say, wait, didn't he bequeath the GM duties to Steven?
No,
he still hasn't yet.
No.
Okay, but
now,
still,
Steven's been more active.
I know, but the fact is that it will cover, It will continue to live on like the British monarchy. We'll have another person with the Jones last name running the Cowboys. But I mean, think about it, Stu. I mean, they didn't have a kicker going into the offseason, right? Like the guys that were supposed to replace the people that they didn't re-sign on the offensive line got hurt. Tyron Smith got hurt. He's going to be out for the majority of the season. So you already know the O-line's banged up. And they're like, hey, we're going to take CeeDee Lamb. And what made him so dangerous last year was the fact that they had another number 1 receiver aside.
And Amari Cooper.
Yeah, and they decided not to sign anybody in their 3rd round draft pick who they thought that was going to fill the hole, ended up getting hurt. I'm just like, what?
And that was what was the thing that was confusing me was I couldn't remember, and it's one of those. I kept hearing how Amari Cooper wasn't effective, and I'm going, hold it. I watched most of those games and. Cooper was really effective.
Yeah, he was rather important.
Not to mention, and it's minuscule and everything, but he was nice to cover. He gives you good info, gives you good quotes, and so
that's always
it was just. I mean, it was just the fact they didn't want to pay him.
I know, but they didn't want to pay anybody. But then again, they gave Zeke that big contract, and now your O-line's banged up, and he's banged up, and now Dak is out. So it's just like, wow.
Crazy.
Hey, that's only week 1.
And it's only week 1. Yeah, it's only week 1. How's your weekend?
They just fixed that mole today.
All right. In your apartment?
I don't know how much they cut out, though. I wish I knew because I was at work. But, I mean, they had to do more than what was looked to have done last time. So I'm just hoping, like, it will hold for a while so I don't have to have anybody. Man, they started early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I didn't have to work till late.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well.
Oh, but my soccer team won yesterday, so that's nice.
Good. That's good.
Come back in the second half.
Nice.
Down 2-0, something that okay, I'm not going to take it there, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I'll say it. Austin FC does not come back from behind. They are not a come from behind team.
Oh man, we're not a road team right now either.
That's crazy because they were.
I know, but it's just like this is
first half of the season, even mid-season, they were doing almost better on the road than they would do at home.
I know, but it's just like college football. It's like you can be bad at the beginning of the season as long as you're good at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And right now it's the opposite. It's like that's the worst thing that can possibly happen. So have you seen this Super Diva before?
I have not. I mean, I've seen the vignettes, obviously, but like Quincy Elliott, I
think so. But I was just like any past history from competition or anything that you've seen before?
No idea. I would think he probably has some sort of.
He doesn't look like anything out of Central Casting, so I'm assuming that he was on the Indies for a while.
He may have had some indie experience. I don't know. I haven't really looked into him. So, I was just saying earlier, compared to last week, this week was somewhat quiet.
Oh yeah. I didn't expect it to be too difficult.
I mean, there's going to be. Week. I mean, we'll be probably one of the last ones to talk about the suspensions and everything, but. Because that happened after we taped and all that good stuff, so. But
we basically called it.
Yeah. So.
I mean, Nick pretty much filled us in.
Yeah.
And it kind of broke down how he said it was going to go.
He did. So, all right, let's make some radio magic. By the way, our liner's going to be Animal because his birthday would have been yesterday, so. Happy heavenly birthday, Animal.
Hey, this is WWE Hall of Famer from the Legion of Doom, Road Warrior Animal, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. What a rush.
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
It is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons. Animal will bring us in.
I know. What such nice memories, man. It's just all like, we got like a treasure trove, unfortunately, of people that are no longer with us that do the liners. And it's just like, man, I was just thinking, it's like, oh, man, I would love to go back and just listen to them all out at once.
Yeah.
Just because, it felt good to hear his voice.
Yeah. His birthday would have been yesterday. We're taping this on Tuesday, so his birthday would have been yesterday. So happy heavenly birthday to one half of the greatest tag team to ever lace him up. So.
Man, such a good dude too.
Oh, he was. He's fantastic. I still, I will always. He will always live with me. The 3 days that he and I palled around a little bit at Super Bowl Radio Row in Minneapolis, and just getting to know each other.
Yeah.
I mean, and then seeing him, spot duty here and there, in indies and such, and so yeah. Compared to last week, this week was a bit quieter. Now, we did have this happen. This happened after we taped last week's episode. And Nick Hausman, again, big thanks to Nick Hausman from Wrestling Inc. for joining us last week. He kind of called it, and it happened. So when Dynamite went on the air last Wednesday night, Tony Khan announced. Now he never referenced names. He just said that the AEW World Championship and World Trios Championships were being vacated.
Oh yeah, it was very what's the term I'm looking for? where no information was really given.
Yeah, it was no info.
Yeah, it was just very dry, very sparse. It was just like, this happened. He didn't acknowledge anything that had happened.
And in fact, there was no mention of them at all that whole show.
Now, are you disappointed that BTE is not going to be rolling for a while?
No.
I'm just asking.
Honestly, no, because it was
starting to lose its sizzle.
Yeah, well, yeah, that it was. It had gotten to where it was just kind of. It felt like a really, kind of the toss away segments that should have been on Dynamite or Rampage. So
that's a good point.
They did announce BTE is going on hiatus. From what, okay, so the following is going to be, a lot of this is rumor, innuendo, scuttlebutt from various sources. A lot of it Fightful Select with Sean Ross Sapp and those guys. But the word around the campfire is that the Elite, Punk, Ace Steel, and then some backstage staff are suspended, but we don't know for how long.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that has to do with the simple fact that there is an investigation. Now, as Nick Hausman pointed out last week, it's not a criminal investigation. This is not done by the police or anything like that, but this is like AEW hired a third party to investigate what happened.
Well, didn't they have some, what's it called, Stu? They had one of the higher ups in the actual television portion or the office that wasn't a wrestler.
Yeah, well, it was actually, and I forget her name, but she's I think chief legal counsel.
Yeah,
for AEW.
She was already backstage.
She was there. Now, I don't know what I'm sure they will talk to her. As I mentioned, there were others in the, Christopher Daniels, who's their lead talent relations. He's suspended. I think Pat Buck got suspended.
I heard that CM Punk's dog was suspended.
Yeah, Larry's suspended. It's so weird. Now, Punk, his situation is compounded by the fact that he is legit injured. Apparent suspension. He's going to be on the shelf for a considerable amount of time. We're talking months.
So everything that was reported about this pay-per-view, I want to keep on calling it a premium live event, but it's different here.
Yeah, so, it's an actual pay-per-view.
Yeah, so I mean, how much of this was the knowledge of Punk, knowing that he was going to be out or he was going to need some work done to himself, in order to get better, and making sure that the fans remembered him, because it's going to be a while.
Okay, I mean, if he was worried about the fans forgetting him, he is more insecure than he lets on. I mean, they're not. CM Punk's pretty hard to forget. Now, from what, and again, I'm calling this from different reports, but allegedly the injury happened during the match with Moxley at the pay-per-view. Now, the mood that he was in when he came into the media scrum, I don't know if that. I mean, I would suspect that had been welling up for weeks, because he did the deal 2 or 3 weeks prior where he calls out Hangman Page, totally off script and everything. And then when Nick tried to ask him a question, he goes off on the whole Colt Cabana thing. So it's hard to say. Now, again, this is this is not me reporting anything. This is not. I don't know how much of it is fact. I'm just letting you know what I have heard, what I've read. As we said, Kenny Omega, I believe, is in Japan right now.
Yes, he was at Sega's
for
headquarters.
for the gaming thing, because they've got AEW's got the game coming out, Fight Forever. So he's in Japan. I don't know what the Bucks are doing. I at home enjoying their family time. I would suspect CM Punk recovering from injury.
I mean, they said suspended. They didn't say suspended without pay, right?
Well, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Now, if I were to speculate, I'll be surprised if we see CM Punk back in AEW. Because it feels to me like he's gotten fed up with whatever it was that he had in his mind, and he decides, I don't need this, and goes home and hangs out with April and Larry, and
more power to him.
Root on the Blackhawks.
Everybody wishes they could do that.
Right.
That they could call their own shots and come and go as they please. But
you're right.
I'm kind of with you though. You kind of took my thunder out of it, because I'm just all like, why am I supposed to care if he comes back at this point? It's just all like, I mean,
look, he is something of a draw, but
yeah, but all their pay-per-views have been in Chicago,
right? And that's and another thing is
where he's from.
I can't see how they make this tenable going forward.
Yeah, because he has to work with those people and vice versa.
Exactly.
And it's like, as a professional, your ultimate trust is in handling the other person's body in a safe manner.
Exactly.
So I expect that even if there is bad blood, for that to take place regardless. But I just don't know for how long that could coexist, especially when he's making more money than everybody else.
Yeah. I think there's going to be... We're not going to hear anything for the next several weeks. But obviously there is going to be an eye towards seeing if and when the Young Bucks and Omega come back. Now, apparently, there was a rumor going around, but apparently the rumor has been killed. There was a rumor that the Young Bucks had sent feelers to WWE. The Bucks have denied this, and the way I heard a good kind of a validation of this. There are a lot of pro wrestlers that live in Florida now. Obviously, Young Bucks live in California, but contrary to what some fans may have in their heads, everybody talks to everybody. Guys in WWE talk to guys in AEW, who talk to guys in Impact, who talk to guys in New Japan.
Yeah.
They're all friends. They've worked together at one time or another. They know each other. So do I think the Bucks have had contact with certain talent in WWE? Sure. I'm not sure it has gone much past that. So,
but I don't think it ever hurts to check, especially if you're a pro wrestler.
Well, sure.
That's still the
that's
pinnacle.
one of those things. Now, and I don't know when the Bucks deal is over. But we hear it all the time. And that's another thing. There's this, and this is with all wrestling news and wrestling news sites. And look, I'm friends with most of them. I totally respect what they do. But there are some stories that get posted and published where I look at it, I'm going, why do I care about this? What does this have to do with the price of tea in China? There's stuff I don't know why.
Usually for clicks.
I sure, okay, I guess if they're clicking on it. I'm not clicking on it.
But I mean, I think it's totally plausible, though. I mean, if
Yeah,
you're the
it
Young
may
Bucks and you're a professional wrestling fan and you're a professional wrestler, you probably
you're going to
grew
click
up.
on anything with Bucks in their name.
Yeah, but I mean, like, but in the terms of the team, like putting out feelers, even though they deny this, like, I mean, I think it's still plausible that they would have some interest in going because, again, if they grew up as wrestling fans, they are knockoffs of the Hardys.
Well, they had
originally.
they had offers before they founded AEW. They had offers. That's kind of like
yeah, but I mean, like, but I'm just
wake
saying,
me up when there's actually something to report. That's what I'm saying.
Wants to work WrestleMania because. Yes, they've headlined their own company's pay-per-view, but it's not WrestleMania.
You're right. Now, regarding the world title and world trios titles, the world trios titles are now held by Death Triangle. They beat Best Friends and Orange Cassidy in a match, but the reason Dark Order couldn't be in the tournament because
they released everybody.
That too. At least one or two of them are injured, so it ended up being Death Triangle and Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Death Triangle wins. Death Triangle, your current World Trios champions.
Were you going to get an Orange Cassidy heel turn?
No. As far as the world title goes, there is a Grand Slam Tournament of Champions that has started.
Him and Danielson have the buys.
No, it's him and
because I'm trying to think of who's in that tournament.
No, because Bryan Danielson is slated to face Chris Jericho this week on Dynamite. Actually, both the semifinal matches are on Dynamite. It's Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson, and it's Sammy Guevara, who defeated Darby Allin. He will face Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
And then the winners will meet next week at Arthur Ashe Stadium to crown a new AEW World Champion.
Now, let me ask you this. Is this the time, finally, for the Bryan Danielson?
Before it was Hangman Page. Page I think he was the other one. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, he was defeated
in
the opening round. Oh, is this now the time to have the AEW title run for one Bryan Danielson?
It's getting some mention.
They spent the money to bring him in.
Yeah, it's getting the mentions.
Although Moxley has been a Wrestler of the Year candidate for everything he's done this year,
and you know that promo he cut on Wednesday last week.
Oh yeah, really
that was fire. That was good stuff. I mean, he has been AEW in 2022.
Oh, easily for everything, all the chaos backstage and everything. He's been the one consistent figure when he's available.
The talk was he got called back to work. He was about to take 6 weeks off.
Yeah,
go spend it with Renee and the baby, and I think he was going to go fishing, but everything happened, so he's back. I think Jericho was supposed to take time off as well. So anyway, yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially if it does end up being Danielson and Moxley, because, of course, both men part of Blackpool Combat Club.
But it just it did stray away from like AEW's initial.
Yeah, it feels like it. It feels like it could be. I mean, I think most everybody thinks it's going to be Moxley.
But I've already seen it. Like numerous times.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing.
And this feels like old school Vince McMahon booking, where it's just like this title just keeps on bumping around.
That's going to be does Danielson beat Jericho?
I mean, he should. I mean, don't get me wrong, Chris Jericho. I mean, total respect for everything he's accomplished in the professional wrestling ring, but,
right?
But at the same token, it's all like he's much older now, and Danielson's still a little bit younger, and I think he's still the bigger draw as Danielson for the average AEW fan.
Yeah.
One that depends on work rate and loves.
We will know what the finals will be. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch and see how this plays out. So, speaking of Jericho, he revealed he was doing an interview for Inside the Ropes. Revealed that not only did 2.0 get contract extensions, Jake Hager has signed a contract extension. So congratulations, Jake. Malachi Black, on the other hand, he has asked for and has been granted what has been termed a conditional release. I gotta believe one of those conditions, you can't go to WWE. And there was a picture floating around of him and his wife, WWE superstar Zelina Vega, I think on a beach somewhere, and he looked quite relaxed. Look, why he needed the release, there's been no mention. I assume it's personal, and I'm going to leave it at that. All I'll say is, as menacing as his on-screen character is, he could not be a more lovely man out of the ring. Having met him a couple times, just fantastic. So I just wish all the best to him. Enjoy the time, and if you come back, hey, we'll welcome you back. Be interesting to see what they do with House of Black, with Brody and Buddy and Julia.
Yeah, and she was just starting to get good too.
Yeah. And then Daniel Garcia beat Wheeler Yuta to win the Ring of Honor Pure title. Interesting. It was Buffalo. Daniel Garcia's from Buffalo. All right, so fine, give him the title win. I get the whole, yeah, but how prestigious is that title?
Thank you.
Congratulations to Daniel Garcia, Red Death, on winning the Pure title. We'll see what happens. There's still this love triangle, I guess, between him and Danielson and Jericho. So.
I was just gonna say I wanted to leave the everybody thinking of this before we head to the break. Which one's more prestigious, the ROH Pure Prestige title or the AEW All Atlantic title?
Man, that's a hard one. ROH Pure title or AEW All Atlantic title?
What do they mean?
I can't get you there. I'll give you this. At least the Pure title has a certain set of rules.
And it has
you have to wrestle a certain match, 3 rope breaks, it's time, judges, all that good stuff. So that's kind of cool. I'll give it that. So.
Yeah, but it's like, where does it fit into the lexicon?
I get you.
Of
right
AEW.
now.
Yes.
Right now, yeah. We are going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll switch gears to WWE. By the way, Royal Rumble coming to Central Texas. That's coming up next. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Yeah, I get you. I respect the Ring of Honor titles.
Well, yeah, because of the lineage.
But right now, while they don't have their own show and their own, for lack of a better term, universe, it's hard to really get into them too much, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And the only other thing I can ever equate it to is like when we saw like the NWA title defended on WWE television.
Right. Well, now
even they had their own.
But that's a little different because that was what?
But they brought
50 years. Well, no, not quite.
Not that far. It was like 95, 96.
So about 45 years, yeah. Yeah, because the NWA World title was established in 1948.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying that
there is a historical perspective to the NWA World title.
Yeah, as there would be for the ROH World titles.
Yeah, it's just like I said. Right now, you don't have your own.
Yeah, they don't have their own show.
They don't have their own show, their own universe, whatever. So,
and that's why I was like, that's the
kinda
only thing
weird.
that's the closest, but it's different because even Smoky Mountain, when they were appearing on WWE television, had their own program.
Right.
Same thing with ECW; they had their own programming. They just
did.
But those belts ultimately didn't mean anything in the WWE universe because that was still a separate. But yeah, it was weird, right? It was like separate from the actual WWE show, but you got to see these other titles defended.
Yeah, no, I get you.
So did you? So are we putting in for Royal Rumble?
I think we will.
I mean, this is like
I'll
the closest
send
to
an
home
email.
as it will get.
I'll send an email
because I doubt they'll ever run the Moody Center.
See if we can at least get a.
Like, sorry, fellas, we can only put you guys in the suite. That's all that's available.
I've been in the suite at Alamo Dome for it was for TNA Lockdown.
Oh, their pay-per-view?
2012?
Is this during Global Force or
no? Before? This was before. This was the one that had the cage match where Hogan or Bully Ray turns on Hogan. And they tried to make it like the NWO and throw trash and all that good stuff.
I remember now. Yes. Yeah. There's like very few Impact moments that really stand out to me just because I didn't watch it a whole lot. I would just catch it here or there, but that's one of them.
I was there with Steve Foster and Eddie Cross. Foss, being who he is, tried to act like he knew what was going on, but he didn't. He knew Hulk Hogan. That was it, and that's all he cared about.
Well, yeah.
So,
that's what he's there for. Is trying to get that casual.
I was watching
fan.
like the, I saw the, Jeff Hardy was there, and we met Velvet Sky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was cool.
Oh, was that during the Beautiful People run?
I believe they were. I think the Beautiful People were still around. Yeah, that was a long time ago, man. But yeah, and of course, been up in the press box for many a playoff game in Texas high school football. So, all right, let's do segment 2. Back here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. Switching gears to WWE, we were trying to figure out last week. It did get announced. Royal Rumble is coming to San Antonio.
Yeehaw!
It will be the 4th time that the Royal Rumble has been held in San Antonio, and the 3rd time the event has been hosted in the Alamo Dome.
I've been to the 2 other ones. The other one that they're referencing is the '95 Royal Rumble.
That was in the Hemisphere Arena. Right?
Yeah.
I was at the last Royal Rumble in the Alamo Dome. That's
the one where Taker comes back, right?
Yeah,
Number
Roman
30?
Reigns won, and he got booed mercilessly. Tickets will go on sale Friday, September 30th. At 10 a.m. Central via Ticketmaster. So, couple quotes. We are thrilled to bring back one of WWE's most exciting events of the year to San Antonio, said Mayor Ron Nirenberg. Royal Rumble will bring tens of thousands of WWE fans from around the world to the Alamo Dome, bringing both an incredible. WWE is honored that the Royal Rumble will serve as one of the cornerstones of the Alamo Dome's 30th anniversary celebration, said WWE Executive Vice President of Special Events John P. Sabor. We are thankful to Mayor Nirenberg, Steve Zito, and the entire staff at the Alamo Dome who were essential in making this historic return to San Antonio possible. Wow, Alamo Dome's 30 years old?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's hosted a few Final Fours, playoff
Yep.
games. I mean, the Spurs don't even play there on a regular basis.
Nope.
It's such a big deal that they're going to be playing there during the regular season this year. Which
They're
is
coming
sad.
to Austin. They're coming playing the Moody Center.
Yeah, because they're going to be moving here
Yeah.
at some point. You know it's true. You know it's going to happen. It's
So,
just
yeah.
given time.
So, South Central Texas, get ready for the Royal Rumble.
You know, for my money, Stu, it's still like the best WWE pay-per-view that somebody can attend. WrestleMania
It's
could be
fun, yeah.
WrestleMania can be too long sometimes. SummerSlam, it can be hit or miss. Survivor Series has fallen by the wayside. But the Royal Rumble itself, the marquee events, and now you get it twice with the women and the men. There's just something about the anticipation of who's going to be next.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we all think that we already know what the story is written.
And that,
anything can happen in the
Well,
Royal
and the funny thing is, we were talking about possibly going. Usually, the Royal Rumble is the Sunday before the Super Bowl, so I'm usually at the Super Bowl city.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, Super Bowl week 1 week later, and it's on a Saturday, so hey,
Makes it even easier to go.
might make it. Let's see, SmackDown Friday night, Solo Sikoa, officially a member of the Bloodline.
As it was written.
As it was written, so shall it be done. Interesting. I'll be interested to see how they use him, how he fits into everything.
Are they just going to change his name? Because, I mean, he's obviously an Uso.
That's a good question. I don't know.
They even reference it, that he's their little he's their brother.
Yeah, Rikishi tweeted something to the effect of, glad to have my 3 sons there, and then God bless Sami Zayn.
Yes.
Almost like a 4th son. I was like, oh, Sammy.
Oh, it was so good with the
you're
Photoshop
so
photo
good.
of him in it.
Yes.
Oh, it was excellent. Which does make you
Yes.
wonder. It's like, oh, what's going to happen to Sami Zayn? Like, is he going to find somebody to help him take on the Bloodline, or is he just going to...
The theory I've heard is Sami Zayn gets gets attacked. Kevin Owens comes down to save him. Ends up being a tag team. They're the ones that will take the tag titles away from the Usos.
They're a good tag team, but I was just like, man, whoever takes the belts off the Usos gets a good push. And it's like, do they really need it?
It'd be fun.
I mean, the Alpha Academy could really use a push like that.
Alpha Academy's not getting it. Elsewhere, Ronda Rousey won a fatal 5-way. She will get a shot at the SmackDown Women's Championship against Liv Morgan at Extreme Rules coming up in a few weeks. Does Ronda Rousey get her title back?
I don't think so. Matches like this really neutralize the advantages that a Rousey would have, where it's like, oh, she's like the legitimate fighter. And it's like, that's great, but what happens after she takes the kendo stick to the leg?
Yeah,
You know?
I get it. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think Liv Morgan finds a way to keep it. I don't know how, but I don't know. Just something tells me she doesn't get the title back. So, and then the end of SmackDown. So it's Drew McIntyre and Solo Sikoa. I think McIntyre won. And then almost immediately, here comes Karrion Kross to attack him. And all of a sudden, everything goes black and white.
Mm-hmm. That's like his thing.
No, it's not his thing. They just do it during the entrance. I thought maybe like my internet feed was dying or
That's what everybody
something was
said.
wrong with my TV.
Yeah.
But no, they decided, oh, we'll just make it black and white. I was like, that's dumb.
Oh, I mean,
That's kind of like having the Fiend.
Sin Cara.
Still dumb. All of it.
Oh,
dumb.
You remember the maggots from WrestleMania?
I was there. Yes.
I think would have made more sense, I guess, if you would have heard new world order, or something like that.
That might be, yeah, but
But-
that was just silly.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, well, it was interesting though. It kind of gave me a Metal Gear Solid vibe where you think the game is messing with you, but no, it was designed to be that way.
Like I said, I thought maybe my internet feed was dying or something. I
am happy with the attack though. That's
champions. Dakota Kai and Io Sky from Damage Control
Was it too soon? Sorry, I didn't mean it's
No. Beating Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah. Was it too soon? Depends on who you talk to.
Personally, no.
I
think they were the hotter tag team, so they should deserve that titles.
I think they were originally slated to be. They were supposed to win the tournament, and I don't know what happened. And now, were you expecting to see Sasha and Naomi come out?
No. I think it's too soon for that, but I would love to see it because I hope this builds up to them going against each other.
I'm wondering when. Apparently, they were on the fashion runway.
They were New York Fashion
modeling.
Week.
Yeah. By the way, so was Braun Strowman.
Yeah. Right.
And Wardlow.
Yeah. The Beefy collection.
Yeah. So.
Hey, get paid.
I wonder when we will see Sasha and Naomi, because allegedly there is a deal. Again, rumor innuendo. Don't know this for sure, but we'll see.
Well, it can really last as long as it wants because it only makes the fans yearn more for the return. Because I don't know what you're really supposed to do with that premium live event now. You know, the whole concept.
I hope they don't do. I hope it's not a Raw versus SmackDown thing. I hope it's like just random team, but they'll probably will.
But I mean, with NXT and Hunter now, I mean, I'm assuming that they would be a player. Maybe this is where we see the draft now, or maybe this is where we kind of get that new changing.
I think
people
the draft is, again, I'm going on what's been talked about around the campfire. I think the draft, they're waiting for the draft until like maybe after WrestleMania.
But didn't they just say that soon?
I'm going, okay, yeah, for a show that does not have an off season.
That's what I was just about to say. I saw some old ad when talking about their season, how it never ends. Watching some old WrestleMania tape.
Crazy. Johnny Gargano made his return to the ring. Good match against Chad Gable.
I'm telling you, that's why Gable needs some love. That was underrated performance from him once again.
Good.
He needs to have like a mid-card title.
Austin Theory with the briefcase smash over Gargano. I'm sure we'll see that program soon.
That would be good to watch too, though.
I heard somebody pose this. What do we see? What will we see? Will we see Theory cash in and fail, or somebody win the briefcase from Theory?
Well, even though that Vince McMahon isn't there, I think it's still pretty apparent that he is like one of those guys that is slated to be like, the position that. Well, not now, not without Vince McMahon around. But I don't think they're going to humiliate him just because he, that was Vince's pick or anything like that. I mean, the kid definitely has like a huge upside and promise.
It's not a humiliation. It would just be he would cash in and fail. John Cena cashed in and failed.
Did he really?
Yes. Yes. So it's not a humiliation thing. It's simply he cashes in and he fails. He doesn't win.
I think they would prefer to have somebody take it off of him instead of him cashing in.
Yeah, but then it's the matter of who.
Somebody that needs a title shot that's red hot at the time. And I'm not sure who that's going to be right now.
Might be Kevin Owens. Who knows?
He is slated to be like a babyface right after that promo from last night.
Yeah. And then end of Raw saw Edge beating, he was fighting Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio giving off all sorts of Eddie Guerrero vibes.
Basically, he was doing like an Eddie Guerrero impersonation.
Don't beat my son up, and then that gives the rest of Judgment Day time to come in and beat up Edge, and they quote destroy his leg. So Edge will be off TV for a little while.
Well, that coup de grace did look nasty, though.
Yeah. So, do you think we see Dominic versus Ray at Extreme Rules?
Man, that would be tough, wouldn't it? To kind of put him in a match like that against his dad already?
Probably Survivor Series.
Oh, man, that's tough.
It's going to happen.
It has to happen at some point, right? But I think he still needs some work, though, personally.
He might. We will see. That promo that he cut with, what's her name, with Rhea Ripley whispering in his ear, that was all sorts of, fifth grade goofy school photo. Mm-hmm. But hey, it was effective. So, talking wrestling, and you're listening to The Horn, where Austin talks wrestling. 37. All right. Zoe Stark, Nikita Lyons.
Oh, she looks like Indy Hartwell, so I was just like, it's not the same person.
No, it's not Indy Hartwell.
But it looks like her. She has like the same build, and ooh, that was nasty and everything.
That was all sorts of nasty.
That was cool though. That was a good move.
That's all she does is that spinning kick.
But she's super athletic though, and that's exactly what you're looking for WWE. You got to feel like a slot. Like, who doesn't have your look? Like, we can only have so many people with so many tattoos and stringy and miscolored hair before you become like a Jeff Hardy knockoff, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, we already got one guy that looks like that, and you're not in a tag team with him, so you got to look different.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, man, you just know bad stuff is going to happen in this parking lot.
Man, NXT parking lot is like the most dangerous place to be.
See, they already got jumped, and like they even told them they're getting jumped. A little patrol car, a little golf cart driving around or something.
Some running cops.
I mean, I would.
Hey, there's Hank, the other security guard.
I mean, would you go to
who's
your
apparently
car
wrestling
by yourself in the NXT parking lot? I mean, come on, after everything we've seen in there.
Meanwhile, Wes Lee getting worked on in the athletic trainer's room there at the Performance Center.
But, you know, I'm glad he didn't not become like a player. Like, they still focus on him. They still give him storylines.
Who, Wes? Me too. All right, let's do number 3 and... Back here on Sports with Independent Wrestling. I've got 6 of them on my list. I know there's more, but we're going to tell you about these 6. We will start right here in Austin. Infamous Wrestling presenting live 101 Proof Friday at the Black Feather Vintage Works here in Austin on Springdale Road. Bell time 7 p.m. Central. Prince Adam, Cody Lane, Houston's Premier Arena, bell time 8 p.m. Central. Misty Marks, Rachel Rose, Amaris Blair, and more. That's Vixen's Wrestling Revolution this Friday in Houston. Texoma Pro Wrestling has the D-Lo down Friday at Sherman Elks Lodge in Sherman. Bell time 8 p.m. Central. D-Lo Brown will be there, along with Shane Taylor, Exodus Prime, Tommy Prince, and more. That's Texoma Pro Wrestling this Friday night in Sherman Central. Holodead, Kylan King, Genocide, Maddie Rinkowski, and more. That's Mission Pro Wrestling this Saturday in San Antonio. Will be there. Mysterious Q, Brian Keith, Fuego del Sol, and more. That's New Texas Pro Wrestling this Saturday in Houston. And Hurricane Pro Wrestling presents live pro wrestling Saturday at Ford Park in Beaumont. Bell time 7 p.m. Central. Chandler Hopkins, Luigi Primo, Danny B, Pump Patrol, and more. That's Hurricane Pro Wrestling this Saturday night in Beaumont. That's a look at independent wrestling around the area, wherever you may be. Go out and support independent wrestling. Did you see the love? What was it, 2 weeks ago? Luigi Primo was getting.
Oh yeah,
the video from our Inspire AD show during WrestleMania weekend.
It's always weird when something goes viral from like years ago that people are just discovering now.
This was just back in April.
It feels like years.
It does feel like years, yeah. But yeah,
social media wise, it feels like years.
I was thrilled for Luigi. I saw our good friend Justin Barrasso did a piece about him in Sports Illustrated on SI.com. So,
and that's great.
Fantastic though. I'm so thrilled for him. Good stuff there. FTR has their first against Aussie Open, who I believe they are the current NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions. First title defense, so there you go.
I'm just joking. That's probably the only time they could fit it in their schedule.
You remember September 1995? WCW Monday Nitro debuting in the Mall of America?
Oh, yeah.
Wrestling, after all these years, 27 years, wrestling returned to the Mall of America. First wrestling held when I was there for Super Bowl. I saw where they taped that Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
Saw the part of the Mall of America. But yeah, good to see wrestling returning there in Minneapolis. So fun card. So football this weekend. Let's start with high school football. Lake Travis, after 3 weeks on the road, finally have their first home game. They will host Aikens Friday night. Pre-game, 7:15 p.m. Central. Kickoff, 7:30 p.m. Central. Mark Honig, Bucky Godbolt in the booth. Yours truly on the sidelines. You can hear that on 104.9 FM. Vandergrift hosting Stony Point. Pre-game 6:45, kickoff 7 o'clock. Merle, Scott, and all the gang. You can hear that on AM 1260 and 101.9 FM.
Oh, Stu, that game's not happening. This next one that you're going to talk about. It was tweeted from the Austin ISD.
LBJ and...
Yeah, they're going to play it next week.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, so all the festives that were surrounding this game have been canceled. They didn't specify for what reasoning, but this game has now been moved to next Friday.
It was supposed to be LBJ and Northeast. What was it called? Northeast Early College. Used to be Reagan High School. The old LBJ Reagan rivalry, but apparently that game has been postponed. So no LBJ football this weekend. Saturday, Texas Longhorns. 3 missed penalty, 2 more stop.
Yeah, but that was last week.
But hell, that was a hell of a game.
Yeah, but that was last week though.
They got to get back up because they got to face UTSA, and Jeff Traylor's going to have them ready.
It's a trap game.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Who's going to play quarterback for you all? You don't know yet.
You know, it's possible.
Who's going to run the ball? Nobody knows yet.
Yeah. I have not, they haven't put out a depth chart. Could be Hudson Card. We'll see how his ankle is. Could be Charles Wright, the former Austin High quarterback. Anyway, that broadcast kicks off pregame 3 o'clock. Aaron Hogan, Rod Babers, Mike Harge from Bevo Boulevard. And then kick off at 7 p.m. Hear that all across the Austin Radio Network on the horn, doing the play-by-play duties there. And then Sunday, the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, my God, that was brutal.
It's like, do I even want to watch?
That was so brutal.
Do I even want to listen? I'm not even sure.
Oh, not only could they not score a touchdown, they lose Dak, possibly 4 to 6 weeks.
Now, Jerry came out and said he's hoping that it's just going to be the 4 weeks because they don't want to put him on injured reserve.
I know. It's Jerry. It's so funny. We were talking about that. I mean, but I don't know. Anyway,
he's going to pay extra for the experimental surgery. Come on.
Sure. Anyway, Cowboys host the Bengals. Pregame 2:30 p.m. Central. Kickoff 3:25 p.m. Central on the horn. Brad Sham, Babe Offenberg, Ari Timken, Brian Broaddus, and the crew. So you'll be able to see that and hear it. And that'll do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter and Twitch at SGTWATX. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We live stream on YouTube and Twitch most Tuesday nights, 7:30 p.m. Central. You can hear us Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central on the flagship station for the Texas Longhorns and your radio home in Austin for the Dallas Cowboys. We are the Horn, 104.9, 101.9, and AM 1260. Or you can catch us anytime on demand by either going to Horn FM. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you at the matches.
Goodbye and good night. Bang!
Javier Bernal taking on Hank, who apparently was one of the security guards, and now he's a wrestler. He's a big dude.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of looks like Seth Rogen.
He does a little look like Seth Rogen, doesn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like Seth Rogen if he was like, a wrestler.
Yeah.
But I was like, this guy, very appropriately named. He looks like a Hank. So
Looks like a Hank, yeah.
just big old Hank.
Yeah. Big old Hank.
There you go. And I was like, you're East Texas.
Big old Hank.
Like something tells me you probably knew a guy like that from Beaumont or something.
Oh, yeah. We had guys like that in Gladewater all the time. Absolutely. There you go. Just start pounding on him.
It's like, make contact with him just a little bit. I mean, how much do they pay these people to be in the crowd for NXT?
I don't know.
Because it seems like a pretty sweet gig.
Apparently, they do have like seat fillers.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As they should. That was impressive, though. He moved fast.
They do. I think they do. The tickets are free. You have to be on their Facebook page or something.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Hank got the win. Way to go, Hank.
Yeah, I mean, but did you see how he moved at the end there with that,
Yeah.
like, where he was running the ropes with speed? I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting him to be that quick.
Boom. Planted him.
Just like body style.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I mean, Hillbilly Jim, though, man, when he was with Hogan, though, I mean, like.
I saw a picture of him from when he was, before he was Hillbilly Jim.
What was he before Hillbilly Jim?
He's a wrestler, just a wrestler. And
City Living Jim or what?
No, it was a totally different gimmick. So.
Man, that must be weird. Did he have the beard?
I don't remember.
It's kind of like when you see Fat Ric Flair.
Yeah.
That always throws, like, yeah, if you saw him then, I mean, there's no way you're thinking, like, oh, future world champion.
You're right.
Which always amazed me. I was like, how did that guy even have anything close to a six-pack, considering how much he drank? Because, I mean, that adds calories. Mm-hmm. That's empty calories. And you're not sleeping, so it's like, when are your body supposed to recover?
Yeah, you're right.
Since they jumped Wesley for Nash to come back.
Interesting.
And I was like, you think that will be the case?
No, because they're not going to bring him back.
But wasn't he like acquitted? Like found that it was
he was never that. It was never. There was never any criminal action. It was one of those. There was allegations of abuse.
Yeah.
And there was the picture.
Yes.
I think most everybody forgot about the picture. And the allegations of abuse, apparently there are two sides to the story. I'm not saying which one's right. I don't know.
Because, they have wrestlers on their rosters that have similar allegations that are in prominent spots.
Well, I don't know.
And is it like the 92 Cowboys where it...
Yeah. So, all right, we're gonna sign off this week. Thanks for joining us on YouTube and Twitch. We'll be back next week. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy yourselves.